All right, good morning. Just getting set up over here. Good morning, everybody who's joining us live or joining us for the recording. My name is Jamie Wozni, and I am a light activation guide and mentor. I serve sensitive souls and divinely gifted souls, and you might identify as a light worker to move from good, having to be a people pleaser, feel safe fitting into the world, to being real, to being authentic, so that you can actually radiate your light. You can live in your full magnificence. And you can shine and you can do what you came to do on the planet. So, if that sounds like you, thank you for making your way over to my channel and my messages. So, today, what we're going to talk a little bit about is the power of your words, the power of your words to manifest. Um, this is huge. And I know I had actually, a healer had talked to me about this, I want to say 8 years ago, and I didn't realize how powerful it was. And this was literally her entire teaching. I can't remember her name right now, but I had a friend and she went to a week retreat and she was like, we literally focused fully and completely on the words we spoke out loud. And at first I was like, oh, I don't believe in positive thinking, and this isn't going to be helpful. But what I realize is that words are creative, words are powerful, and they are energy. And we are creative beings. And I think if we don't understand what's actually happening and what's actually going on, then it can get really confusing as to why. We're just like, oh, what does it matter what I say? But when we see, wow, I'm a powerful co creative being, well, of course it matters what we say. Now, we don't want to invalidate ourselves. So this can seem really confusing if you're like, well, I'm living in this like complete made up fantastical world where I'm saying out loud, I feel great and I'm having a wonderful day. And you might not feel great and you might not have a wonderful day. And if you've come to my channel before, you know I'm huge about allowing yourself to feel what you feel, allowing yourself to meet yourself exactly where you are. So we do both. We do both, which I think I might have touched on in the last episode, if I remember correctly. But what we do is we welcome where we are. So maybe in this moment, we're feeling tense or we're feeling afraid, and we can say, we can use a phrase like in the past, or just in this moment right now, I'm feeling afraid. Or, excuse me, in the past, my experience was a lot of fear, because we don't want to resist what's actually here. We don't want to invalidate our experience, and we don't want to live in some false land. Okay. So, first, we welcome where we are with our words, and then we add on, but I want to experience what? Because when we focus on what we want and we feel those feelings in our body, we are the quantum field of life. So then we begin to attract similar feelings, similar vibrations, similar situations. So I actually had a situation where we had a crazy luggage mix up last week. And, there could be a part of you that's like, I don't want to tell everybody this story because I don't want to keep perpetuating that. And there is a part of me that's very aware of that. But there's also a part of me that goes, I'm going to be human. I'm going to let my feelings out because I'm not going to stay in victim. I'm just letting them move. I know I'm consciously doing this. And then, regardless of what people think about me, because no one really talks like this. So you have to be brave to go, I'm going to talk in a way that most people aren't used to me talking. And so what I'll say is, this is what happened to me. And then I will add on at the end, and I'll say, and next time I want to have an experience where my flight goes smooth and my luggage arrives easily. There are other ways. So again, validate where you are and then focus on what you want. There are other things to be aware of. So after this conversation, if you'd like to join me, I invite you to be aware of your language. Be aware of the way that you speak. And the reason my inspiration for this was I was in North Carolina visiting a whole bunch of different people. We were at a wedding, and when we were at this wedding, I noticed someone was speaking in a way that was very limiting. and they couldn't see past the limitations. And I thought, wow, what if they could move beyond the language that's programmed in their head? Because what happens with our language is a reaction, it's a habit. And so, what if this person could move beyond the language, and open their mind to another possibility? Now, our ego's not going to want to let us do that because our ego loves where we are. It loves familiarity, and it wants to keep us safe. But this is the safe way past it because we're going, okay, ego, I'm not ignoring you. I'm not eradicating you. I'm saying, I get it. This is where you are. And what if maybe this? And so, other words that we can use, I just wrote down three that I thought of. Never. Gosh, what a word. Never, can't, and have to. I'll never be like that. I'll never have that. Not in this lifetime. Never, never, never. Well, your thoughts are creative. Your energy is creative. So then what happens is that will attract to you. You will attract the situations where you can't have the thing you can't have. It becomes a self fulfilling prophecy. You go see there's proof in the world. The world is a reflection of you. It's a mirror of, whoa, I must be thinking things aren't possible for me. I must be in doubt. Can I welcome the doubt? Can I feel the energy of the doubt? Can I let the doubt move through me so that maybe something else can come down my river? So notice, are you using limiting words? Today, this week, could we do an experiment? What words am I using to manifest my life? Is it the words of my dream life? So instead of never, maybe it's possible that. So in the past, I've never been able to attract so and so into my life, and maybe it's possible. I don't know, right? I can't do that. I can't have that. They won't let me. Wow, that's one I used to fall. I was going to use this word here, victim to. That is victim consciousness. I can't. Well, here we go. Validate. I haven't been able to, but what if it's possible that I could receive this? And it's going to be so uncomfortable to your brain. I just experienced this talking to a different family member about money. And I thought, well, I've been able to do well for myself, but in my reality, it's I must have a certain amount of clients and a certain amount of classes to have this. And so my mind wanted to make more money. And then my mind went, well, God, that's going to be even more work. And I thought, I know this is uncomfortable to my brain, but what if it's possible? Here's the phrase you can use to. What if it's possible to make this amount of money and have the same amount of work, have the same amount of clients, have the same amount of a thing? I don't know. We don't realize we're more than physical beings. We don't realize we're frequency. We don't realize we're energy. We don't realize that we're in a quantum field. And so we solidify ourselves because it feels safe. We stay in our stories of what we think is possible for us, what we can and we can't do, what's never available for us, what isn't allowed in our world. We get that self-fulfilling prophecy and we say, see? And then we never break out of the lines. There's that story of the lion. I think it was a lion or an elephant. I don't know. Don't quote me here, but was in a zoo and it was captive its whole life and it was in a cage. And these people rescued this lion. And they put it in a free space and it was allowed to roam wherever it could roam. And this lion, the rest of its life, stayed in the same section that it was allotted prior to being free. And that's us. We are an unlimited source of potential with a brain that limits us. And so, is it easy to see around? No. We get stuck in it. We have to have compassion and validation for our human experience that does doubt, that does live in victimhood. So we go, wow, our awareness is everything. Can we just notice? Can we start to be aware of what is coming out of my mouth? What is the language I'm using to create my reality? And can I start to use words or phrases that are curious? I wonder if this is possible. That would be cool. What if? What if? And so words I use for myself often, I ask my body, what would it feel like if you were at peace? What would it feel like if we did have this amount of money? And then you let that feeling move in, right? Because we have to allow ourselves to move into new feelings and new possibilities in order to bring those in. And I know it can seem rocky because we're so used to the other and we have proof of the other. And so it can take some time to inform our confidence in the new direction. Now, here's the one that drives me absolutely nuts is have to, instead of choose to. I have to go to work today. I have to take this medication. I have to, whatever it might be. And I hear this one in people a lot. The most beautiful, if you are one that grew up with trauma and you felt powerless in your life, I relate to that. You've had anxiety and you felt helpless. You do not feel like you have a choice, right? You get stuck in have to. But what so say there's someone in my life that's starting a new diet. I have to eat this way. How restricting you can feel the energy of that. It causes anxiety. It causes you to feel powerless, helpless, as opposed to I am a sovereign being. I can create some really crazy stuff in my life, and sometimes innocently, unconsciously, but I'm going to take full responsibility as a sovereign being. And I might not be unconsciously choosing to stay broke, stay sick, stay closed in the heart, whatever it is you might be doing, giving some random examples. But you're doing it because on some level, it looks helpful to you. And so there's a part of me that's choosing that until I outgrow it and move to another level of consciousness where it looks safer for me to expand into something new. But I'm choosing it. I'm choosing to eat this way. People will say to me a lot because I've gone through all the diets, right? Anti-inflammatory, vegan, vegetarian, paleo, this, that, that. So people are used to me eating in a certain way. So I'll have people around me often say to me, "Oh, you can't have this, right? You can't have gluten, right? You can't have this, right?" And it's all innocent, but what I'll come back with, because again, I'm very aware of the language that I use. "Oh yeah, no, 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 I can't have that." Or to the waiter, "Oh, you can't have this." And again, you might look like you might be worried you look weird because we're not used to talking like this. I'll switch it and I'll say, "Oh, no, no, no. I'm just choosing not to eat gluten." And you might say to me, "Well, yeah, you could have a reaction, but I'm choosing to not have a reaction. I'm choosing to do this. And if I'm choosing to have gluten, then that's my choice, right? But I'm going to own it. I'm not going to come in with powerlessness and helplessness." So that's another word that you can focus on using. But set the intention after this conversation. I want to be aware of the limiting words that I'm using that are keeping me stuck. And I would love to open to and align with words that are helpful and that are life giving and that are empowering. And remember, you don't have to do this because, again, I'm glad I'm sharing this conversation now when I see it in a higher way. You don't have to do this in fairyland. You don't have to say, "Oh, I'm wonderful and I'm feeling great." We can meet ourselves where we are with our words, and then we can open to a new possibility with our words. And you can feel a heaviness in words that are not in alignment with you and your truth. And you can feel a lightness in words that are in alignment with you and your truth, even if they are unfamiliar to you. So you might not have worthiness or powerful or abundance as something that's familiar to you. But when you say words in alignment with those things and they feel light? Do they feel resonant? Do they feel true? Well, then they are yours. They are your truth. They are safe to continue using. And it might take a minute to move from one direction to the other. So don't do this for a day and say, "Oh, it doesn't work." I did an Insight Timer Live a week ago, 2 weeks ago, where I had us commit to ourselves no matter how long it takes. And so I invite you to do that here as well. I commit to my healing, to my integration, to my wholeness, to my expansion, no matter how long it takes. I will be there for myself. I will love myself more than anyone has the capacity to. And I will show up for myself every day um, until I get to where I'm getting to, right? Because we're the only one that can do it. And there was one other thing that I wanted. Oh, this was the last thing I want to share with you before we finish. So, again, you might think people are going to think I'm crazy because I do this, but I give myself redos all the time. because this is how your brain works. Your brain works in reactivity. Your neural pathways are just shooting. It's trying to keep you safe. It's going to be reactive. But if you can be aware enough to just be the observer of the reaction, even if you say something out loud. So, for example, um, an old pattern of mine was mothering my boyfriend. Very attractive, I know, but I know some of you can relate. And so I caught myself yesterday saying something like, you should change your band aid on your foot because it was on longer than I probably would have left my band aid on my foot. And I I had that. It just came out of my mouth. Hey, you should blah, blah, blah." And I saw the innocence in it, which is what all of us do is we say the thing, we see the innocence, we hold ourselves with compassion as we would a child or an animal or nature, totally innocent, coming from a neural pathway. And then what most of us won't do is say, "Oh, you know what? Can I have a redo?" Or just, "I'm going to redo that." And that's what I did. I walked back in the house and I said, "I'm going to start over." And I said, instead of just coming in saying, "This is what you need to do," I stopped and I said, "Hey, I'm picking up on something that would be helpful for you. Would you like to hear it?" And then the person can say to me, "No," and then I respect the boundary, or they can say to me, "Yes," and then I can share what I want from their desire to know, and then I can leave it, right? So you have an opportunity to redo all the time. And another thing, I actually learned this from a healer a long time ago: cancel, clear, delete. You could say something out loud, I don't know, like, "Oh my God, I'm so worried about money. I'm so broke right now." And you catch yourself, whoop, okay, universe, cancel, clear, delete. I'm just starting over. And then we come from responsive, which thought feels light, right? I've never had that much money, but I'm open to the possibility that I could. And universe, I'm curious how to make that happen. So send me the next step. Okay. So give yourself permission to have redos, give yourself permission to mess up, give yourself permission to be aware, give yourself permission to be where you are, and then give yourself permission to open your mind to possibility because you are, science has shown us this, quantum physics has shown us this. This isn't just Jamie sharing a nice thing. You are atoms, you are energy, you are a vibration, you are a frequency. Our brain is plastic, neuroplasticity. No matter what was handed down to us, yes, some of us might have very traumatic experiences, but we can heal, we can shift. God is an equal opportunity employer. It's what frequency are we plugging into? But we don't want to discard the frequency we're in. We have to meet ourselves where we are and then kind of move up and create and open up to something new. But how beautiful we know just because we're physical beings, we're not stuck in it. As Jesus said, in the world, but not of it. So I invite you to use your language to start to use that as a tool to manifest the reality of your dreams and actually live the life that you want and liberate your sacred light, your full magnificence, and your authentic truth for the whole world because the world needs that right now. That is your gift, being yourself. So, thank you guys so much for joining me. If this resonated with you, I have a perfect course for you that's on my website, and I'll actually link it down in the notes here. It's called Liberate Your Sacred Light. And it's 8 lessons, 8 of my most popular lessons to assist you in manifesting the life of your dreams. So here's the tool of language, and you're like, wow, this is really cool. I do want to manifest the life of my dreams. I am a light worker. I am a sensitive soul. I want to know how to live safely, live fully expressed in the world. This is your next step. It's at jamiewosny.com/services, jamiewosny.com/services. You'll see Liberate Your Sacred Light, or I will link it down below. I will be here mostly every Monday. I've been traveling, so I haven't been here the last couple Mondays, but every Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific. So please come, please ask as many questions as you want. Comment. I read all the comments and will answer anything that you need. Have a beautiful rest of your Monday. I'm sending you guys lots of love. Watch your words. Take care.